Okay, so for today's session, I'm going to be going through the manual booking flow and then also how you would perform a mass booking. So we're going to start with booking a manual appointment. So to book a manual appointment, first of all, you need to navigate to patient search and search for a patient. So click patient search on the left-hand side of the main menu. So you have to search using at least 3 pieces of information. So that's a combination of full name, date of birth, and postcode. Or you can search using NHS number on its own, and that kind of like overrides the other criteria that's put in basically. So I'm going to search by my NHS number, and as you can see, I was able to paste that into the field as well. So you can copy and paste into the fields. So I'm going to search. So my patient has been found, just got some information on my patient, and then to view their record, I just select the patient record link. So to book an appointment then, you can either go to the vaccinations tab, and at the top then it will show me the vaccines that my patient has been recommended for. So it's telling me my patient is recommended for a COVID-19 and also for a flu. It's given me the earliest due and the latest due dates, and I've also got a booking status. So at the moment, they're not booked. So I can click book appointment, which will take me straight into the book appointment flow, but I can also book it from the appointments tab. So in here then I've got another book appointment link and it's telling me that I've got 2 vaccines to book for. I've got COVID-19 and a flu. So obviously if it was just one vaccine, it would just display the one vaccine. So we're going to navigate from here, but it goes into the exact same flow. So select book appointment. So the first page I've got then is my vaccine selection. So any vaccines that a patient has been recommended for will display in tick boxes. You'll see at the bottom here, I've got an add something else link. So in order to see this, you will need to have an additional activity, which is currently BV018. So without BV018 added to your role, you won't have this add something else section at the bottom. And what this add something else section is, if I click it, I get the choice to book my patient for an appointment that they haven't been recommended for. So if I came in here and, for example, my patient wasn't recommended for a flu, they were only recommended for a COVID, I could tick my COVID, select add something else, and then I would be able to select flu from the drop down. Obviously, my patient is recommended for a flu, so it's not there at the moment, but I am given the option to book for an RSV if I want to. So if I select RSV and give a reason, then I'd be able to go through onto the next flow then and book an appointment for COVID and for RSV. But if you don't want to, you can just select remove. And again, that's the same. So if they had no recommendations at all and you had the BV018 activity, you'd be able to come in and book for all 3 vaccines that they haven't been recommended for. My patient is recommended for a COVID-19 and a flu, so I am going to book for these 2. And we've also just got the due dates on the side as well. I'm going to select continue. So this screen is where you would choose your location. Again, very similar across other flows. You have the back a step button. If I click back a step, it'll take me to the previous page and I can make any changes or amendments if I need to. You've got 3 radio buttons. So the first one is for a patient's GP surgery. And as you can see, at the moment, my patient doesn't have one set. So it's grayed out. It's not an option for me to select. However, if they did have one set, it would look very similar to below. It would display their their GP surgery, and then I would be able to select it if I wanted. So we've got patient's GP surgery at the top, patient's vaccination location, and then you've also got the ability to search for another location. So if I select that radio button, I'm going to search for my location, which is WIS. So I've just started to type, and then it's given me the location in a drop down below. So I'm going to click, and then I'm going to find some available dates and times. So what we have now is a calendar. On the left-hand side, then you can do some filtering. So you can filter by the session types, and you can also filter by the session name. When you first come into the calendar, they will all be defaulted as ticked. So it's up to you how you want to filter that down. So for example, I know at my location, I don't have any sessions that are set up for untimed. So I'm just going to untick time just to show you what the calendar looks like. So as you can see on my calendar here now, I got nothing available. But if I reselect timed, you can see now the dates are highlighted that are available with the sessions on. And same goes for filtering by session name. So you've got a little key at the bottom then, which just tells you that yellow means selected, the white card is available, and then grey is not available. So I'm going to go in and book my patient for, let's say, for tomorrow. So I just select the date from the calendar. You can also navigate the calendar pressing the arrows, so you can go forward and backwards to the rolling months. So now that I've selected my date, I've got this section at the bottom now, which is my times. So this is just saying that this is all the available times that I've got on the 8th of August for my timed sessions. And they split into morning, afternoon and evening. So as you can see, they're just listed as radio buttons. So you just look through and you can choose whatever time you like. So it'll only obviously show you available times. So I'm just going to click evening and press continue. And then at the end, we've got a summary page. So this is just telling me my patient's details, and it's also telling me the booking details. So very similar to other flows, you get a change button on the section. So if you want to go back through and change any information, then you can. So I can change to only book for example, just for a COVID. So I'm unticking my flu. I do have to go back through the flow again because obviously it will depend on what sessions are being returned. Sorry about that. Let me just get rid of that. I'm going to research for my location again and find available dates and times. And then you're just back in the calendar view again. So it'll bring back sessions that match the criteria that I've changed. Again, I'm going to book for tomorrow. And I'm just going to choose a different time. And press continue. So I'm back on my summary page now. If at any point you're in the book appointment flow and you don't want to continue with the booking, you can press the cancel and exit button at the top in the header. So this won't save any changes and it'll just return you back to the patient's record. But I do want to go ahead and book my appointment. So I'm going to select the book appointments button. And now I've got a confirmation screen and it's just telling me that my appointment's been booked, who it's been booked for, the location and the date and time. So I select close. So now I'm back in the patient's record and you can see then that my booked appointment is showing below. It's given me the date, it's given me the time, the location and the vaccine. And then I've also got the option to cancel it if I wish. So that is booking a manual appointment. I'm now going to show you how you would do a mass booking. So to do a mass booking, you need to go to the bookings flow. So you need to select bookings from the main menu on the left-hand side. Only specific users with an additional activity will be able to see the bookings button. So if you don't have that, that will be WIS because you need to have an additional activity. So the first screen that you come in on is the mass bookings history. So this is just a history view of all the previous mass bookings that have been run. You can drill down into them further by viewing the details. So if I just select view details. So we've got like a booking summary. So it's telling me the date and time and who it was booked by. We've got some booking details. We've got the locations that were included in the booking, the priority groups and any exclusions. And then at the bottom here, then we've got any letters that have been sent. If you click on this card here that says patients booked, you will then get a list of all the patients that have been appointed during your mass booking request. So obviously this is just test data, so there's not that many in there at the moment, but obviously it'll be much bigger. So you can filter it by patient name, or you can filter it by appointment date and time, and you can also filter it by location. If you expand the patient's name, you then get more details, more demographic information for the patient, their date of birth, NHS number and address, and you can do that for all of the patients in the list. So I'm going to go back to my booking screen then, and I'm now going to create a mass booking request. So to do that, you need to select the book appointments button. And now we're in the mass book appointment flow. So very similar again to other flows, you have the cancel and exit button in the header. So if at any point on any page you want to cancel what you're doing, it won't save any changes and then you'll just be returned back to the history page. So the first page that we're on then is our booking details. Any fields that are marked with a red asterisk are mandatory. So if I try to select continue on this page, as you can see, we've got an error summary and it's telling me what I need to do. It's telling me I need to select vaccines and I need to enter my appointment dates. The errors in the error summary are clickable. So if I click the select vaccines, it takes me to the bottom of the page where the error is for me to correct. I'm just going to start from the top. Again, you can either type in the field or you can use the calendar to select a date. It also gives you a bit of narrative here just to let you know when the last mass booking request was done for. Age range isn't mandatory, so it's up to you whether you put that in or not. I'm not going to put it in for the demo, but I am going to choose my vaccines and I'm going to do it for COVID and flu. And I'm going to continue. So this screen is where you would add your locations. So to do that, very similar to the manual bookings, you would just start typing in your location and it would offer it below to you. So I'm going to click, you have to click add to add your location. So I've selected add. I'm going to go in now. I'm just going to add a couple of locations just for test. You can also remove just by selecting the remove button. So if I remove this one, and as you can see now, it's gone. So yeah, you can add as many locations in there as you need to do the request for. So I'm just going to do those two and I'm going to select continue. So you then have to choose which priority groups that you want included in your request. So because I selected COVID-19 and flu as my vaccines, I've got a list of COVID-19 priority groups. And then at the bottom here, then I've also got a list of flu priority groups. Again, this is just test data that's been put in for the moment. So I'm just going to select a random few from COVID, and then I'm just going to select 2 from the flu and continue. This screen is where you would prioritize the order of the priority groups. So it defaults onto yes, but if you don't want to prioritize them, you can select no. For the purpose of this demo, we are going to, so I'm going to select yes. So you just got a bit of an information message here just to say the priority groups are in alphabetical order by default. So make sure to reorder them just to match your priorities. And to reorder, all you have to do is use these up and down buttons alongside the priority group. So if you want to, for example, P0.1 is listed as priority 2. If I want to move that down, it's now gone to 3. Again, if I want to move it down, or if I want to move it up, I can move that one up. So again, it's up to your discretion how you choose to do that, but that is how you would do it. You would use the up and down buttons alongside the priority groups. And then you've also got how should patients be ordered within the priority groups. So we've got 2 options. For priority 1, I'm going to set mine as oldest first by age. And then if I wanted to add a second priority, as you can see, I can no longer select the first option anymore, because obviously you can't, you won't be able to do it by the same default option twice. So I'm going to say I want to prioritize them by age, the oldest first, and then I'm going to do it by due date with the earliest first. If I want to remove, I can just select remove next to priority 2, but there will always need to be at least one priority on this section. So I'm going to keep mine as by age, and I'm going to do it for oldest first. I'm going to select continue. This page is our exclusions page. So it's asking, do I want to exclude any patients who have had DNAs? Again, you can select no, or you can say yes. And when you select yes, then you get some additional fields that you need to complete. So you can select a date range. I'm just going to, for example, just pop one in here. And then also it's asking me to select the patients that I want to exclude. So those who have DNA'd 1 or more times, 2 or more times, or 3 or more times. So I'm going to select DNA 1 or more times. And then it's asking if I want to exclude any other groups. So you've got the option to exclude homeless and housebound. You can either do both, or just one, or none. So I'm going to tick both and select continue. This screen is our correspondence screen. So if you wish to send letters as part of your mass booking request, you'll be able to tick the tick box next to the location or locations, so you can choose which ones that you want letters to be sent for. If the location doesn't have letters set up or letters configured at a location level, these tick boxes will be disabled. So it's just that the letters will need to be turned on for them. So as you can see at the moment, it's not turned on for both of my locations, so I can't select them. But if it was turned on, I'd have the option to tick them. And then you can also do a select and select all if you've got a big list in there. So I'm going to select continue. And again, we come to a summary page. So this is just asking, am I ready to book these appointments? I've got the opportunity to look over the request and just make sure that everything is correct. Or if there is anything on here that I do want to change, for example, I'm going to go in and change who I want to exclude. I'm going to change it to those who have DNA'd 3 or more times. I'm going to press continue. Continue again. And then we're back on the summary page and my information is updated. So you can do that on any section that there has a change button. So if I'm happy with my request, then what I would do is I'd go ahead and click the book appointments and generate correspondence button. And then it would tell me that my patients have now been booked into the session and how many appointments have been booked. Obviously, this hasn't been hooked up in our test system at the moment, so I can't show you patients actually being appointed, but that is the flow, and that's how you would do the mass booking. And if I select close, then I'm just returned back to the history view, and as you can see, it's got the mass booking request that I just completed is now showing on here. It's given me the date it was completed, the dates that I ran it for, the locations, the vaccines, and then also who created it. If I was to drill down further in here, then like I shown earlier, it's just a booking summary of all the details. And that is pretty much all I had to go over for today's session. So booking a manual appointment and performing a mass booking request. So are there any questions? Joe?
Hi, Bethan. I did put a couple of questions in the chat. So when you're excluding DNAs, I think in some of the show and tells, it was mentioned we might be able to exclude cancellations. Is that something that it's not going to be an option now, or not an option for mass bookings, but
It's not going to, it won't be there for first release, but it is
okay.
something that we're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then there was an option about so when you do the mass booking, you can send correspondence at the same time. Can we send correspondence at a later time? Because normally I would want to check the mass booking prior to sending letters. I wouldn't necessarily want to do it at the same time because I'm guessing there's going to be a way to revoke the mass booking or cancel the mass booking.
So you would still have your letter screen that you would manage the letters from. So this is just saying, do you want letters to be created then? Sorry, not sent. Maybe I used the wrong word.
Right, okay, so that's just created. Then we can send them like we would usually would, either staggered or after checking. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, that's my fault. I think it's the way I worded it. Thank you, Joe. Gina?
Hi, Bethan. Sorry if this has already been covered because I did join a few minutes late. When we set SGAs up at the moment, obviously we've got a mapping document for GP practices mapped to various locations or the patients from the practices. Will we still have that in the background? Do we still need to do that going forward?
Yes, so you will still have the ability to do that via advanced patient search will be in here. So patients can still be mapped. Yeah, because you send us your mapping requests at the moment, don't you? And then we
do,
map
yeah.
them. Yeah.
So
really
presume because we can't, I don't see any functionality for us to map, which would be good if we could, but obviously it gives us more flexibility. Although I have to say what I've seen here gives us a lot more flexibility, a lot more accessibility to the information. It is very good. But yeah, I just wondered how the mapping will work.
Yeah, no, that's a really good good question, Gina. I can certainly go away and find out what process and what's happening with that, and I'll let you know. Is that okay?
That's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Any questions that are in the chat, I will reply to after I've stopped the meeting. If anybody's got any questions they want to ask in here. If not, that's fine. I will stop recording. I did just want to ask, I have put